Hello and welcome to the UGA CSAA graduation. Is it-
We will be getting, oh, sorry. Good evening, everyone. We'll be getting started in about 2 minutes. So if you'll, graduates, if you'll take your seats as people are filtering in, and we'll get started in about 2 minutes. Okay, good evening. I am Jenny Boss. I am a member of the faculty here in the College Student Affairs Administration program. And I've had the pleasure of serving as the coordinator of the program for the past 3 years. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the 2026 College Student Affairs Masters Hooding Ceremony. Throughout the night, you will hear the program referred to by many as CSAA. Before we continue, I want to take a moment to thank the extraordinarily hardworking students who helped to put this program together. Special thanks to the CSAGA Executive Board and any other volunteers who made this night possible. Will you join me in a round of applause for them? As we gather in this place to celebrate, I want to pause to acknowledge the land upon which we celebrate and the labor that shaped this institution. Although this is not the time or place to go into the full history and context, I do want to offer this statement of land and labor acknowledgement, adapted from statements created by former doctoral students in our program, Drs. Corey Bazemore James and Jason Wallace. This is also located in the long form program if you have that with you. The CSAA program acknowledges that the land we are presenting from today is the original homelands of the Muskogee Creek, Hittichi, and Oconee tribal nations, among many others whose names and legacies have not been so readily recorded. We acknowledge the painful history of genocide and forced removal from this territory and recognize our role in the continued displacement of Indigenous communities and cultures. We will continue to incorporate Indigenous knowledge into our work and establish meaningful reciprocal connections with Indigenous people and communities. We honor and respect the many diverse Indigenous peoples still connected to this land on which we gather. We also acknowledge the labor of enslaved peoples, primarily of African descent, who were forcibly removed from their homelands and whose labor was exploited to build many of the institutions and spaces in which we exist today, including this very one. We are indebted to their labor and the labor of many people who continue to work in the shadows for our collective benefit. This evening marks the 7th hooding ceremony for the CSAA Master's Program. This is a tradition that began with our 2020 graduates and has since become time-honored. Tomorrow, many of you will attend the university-wide celebration with all of its pomp and circumstance. But tonight's ceremony is something special. It is an intimate celebration exclusive to this year's graduates and of our program. This ceremony will be brief, but it will be powerful. In a bit, we will celebrate each of these graduates individually, but this accomplishment is not an individual one. It is a reflection of community and legacies of love and support. So please help me acknowledge via applause the friends, family, found family, supervisors, colleagues, faculty, and other communities of support, both here in person and joining us virtually. At some point tonight, we will get to the titular moment, the hooding. A hooding ceremony, to give some context, a hooding ceremony is a special academic tradition in which faculty members honor graduates by placing the master's hood over their shoulders, and we will be doing that tonight. The shape of the hood represents the master's degree. The light blue velvet that you will see on the hoods that the graduates will come up with tonight signifies education, and the red and black, well, of course, that signals UGA. That's right, go Dogs. The hood is a tangible symbol of the major accomplishment of completing a graduate degree, but it doesn't fully capture the journey behind that achievement. Most people outside of our field don't even know what student affairs is. You may still be wondering as you sit in your seats now. Or even why it would require a graduate degree, even if you have some frame of reference for what this is. When this hooding tradition began, the graduate students asked that we provide some context, for those less familiar with the field. At its heart, student affairs is about nurturing human development during the college-going process. Although students arrive at college seeking academic credentials, much of their growth happens beyond the classroom. A student may come to college seeking an accounting degree with guidance from professionals like Joy and Jordan and Amy and Avi, who all worked in the UGA Career Center over their 2 years here in the program. Those students discover confidence in navigating interviews, networking, and life after graduation, among many other things, with their guidance. Another student may come to college and arrive from another country feeling uncertain and isolated, and find belonging, cultural connection, and community through the work that Marjorie has done in global student engagement. Some students discover leadership and purpose through organizations and campus involvement with support like professionals like Damien, who worked in leadership development and student engagement. Others built lifelong, life-wide, and life-deep connections to their institution because of the work Ariana has done in alumni relations, helping students understand that graduation is not the end of their relationship with the university, but its continuation. In residence halls, some students of all majors and backgrounds navigate living in close quarters, managing conflict, building life skills, and learning accountability. Professionals like Catherine, Adonis, and Yulia have spent the last 2 years working with and supporting students in these moments of challenge and growth within university housing. Some students struggle to find community or mentors and are connected to programs intentionally designed to help them thrive, um, like the mentoring network Lexi has supported through the UGA mentoring program. Some students come to college and they are searching for spaces where they can show up fully and authentically as themselves and find that support through centers like the Pride Center, where Nicole has worked to foster belonging, advocacy, and care. And some students discover purpose through service, philanthropy, and fraternity and sorority life, learning how to lead and support others through the work Jameson has done with UGA Miracle and Greek Life. These moments may not always happen in classrooms, but they are deeply educational. They shape students' identities, relationships, confidence, values, and understanding of themselves and others. The 14 professionals we celebrate tonight have cultivated knowledge and skills to support students through these experiences. And while some of this work can appear simple on the surface, what often makes great student affairs practice look effortless is the deep preparation, reflection, and intentionality behind it. Over the past 2 years, these graduates have come to understand higher education as a complex organization composed of interconnected systems, policies, people, and competing priorities. They're going to come up and tell you about it now. I'm joking. They have also learned how colleges and universities function, how decisions are made, and how to navigate institutions in ways that help students move through them more successfully. They have studied research, assessment, and evidence-based practice so that their decisions are not guided only by instinct or good intentions, but by data, reflection, and an understanding of what helps students learn, persist, and thrive. They have developed helping and interpersonal skills because student affairs professionals are often among the very first people students turn to when they are struggling. Sometimes that means listening to a student experiencing homesickness, grief, conflict, anxiety, or crisis. Sometimes it means helping students navigate complicated systems and connecting them to the right offices, resources, and support before a challenge becomes overwhelming. They have learned about group dynamics and leadership, both in terms of working collaboratively with colleagues and in supporting student organizations, teams, residence hall communities, and peer groups. They have learned that communities do not simply function on their own. They require care, communication, accountability, and trust. They have studied legal issues and the broader legislative terrain of higher education so that they understand both the opportunities and constraints that shape their work. They know that supporting students also means understanding issues of safety, privacy, rights, advocacy, institutional responsibility, and ethical decision-making. They have engaged deeply with principles of equity, diversity, and inclusion to thoughtfully support students from a wide range of cultural backgrounds, identities, life experiences, financial circumstances, belief systems, and educational journeys. They understand that no two students arrive at college with the same experiences, resources, or barriers, and that good student affairs practice requires empathy, cultural awareness, humility, and adaptability. In addition to all of this, they have learned how to translate theory into practice. They have spent over 1,200 hours in assistantships, internships, and practicum experiences, applying what they learned in real time with real students, real colleagues, real challenges, and real communities. And they've done all of this in 2 years. We have asked much of them, and they have delivered. We are so proud and excited to see where they will go from here. Let us have a round of applause for our class of 2026. Each year, the graduating cohort selects students to represent them at end-of-year celebrations. Last month, at our program-wide end-of-year celebration, Nicole Tamouche spoke on behalf of the cohort, and Lexi Rouse was recognized with the Theodore K. Miller Outstanding Master Student Award. Please join me in recognizing them both. For tonight, the cohort has selected Amy Gutierrez Luviano to speak on behalf of the graduates. Please join me in welcoming Amy to the lectern.
Hi everyone, hola a todos. Thank you for joining us tonight to celebrate the graduating class of 2026 for the College Student Affairs Administration Master's Program. My name is Amy Gutierrez Luviano, and I'm incredibly honored and humbled to have been selected as a speaker for this huge milestone. I felt a lot of excitement to know that I would be speaking. However, I also felt an equal amount of pressure and nervousness. How could I possibly put into words the last 2 years? How could I possibly articulate the individual and group experiences we had, all the growth, all the challenges, the friendships, the inside jokes, the hard conversations? I truly considered making a Google form to send to the cohort to collect responses on our experiences so I could highlight them during this speech, but I realized that may defeat the purpose of a ceremony speech and turn this into an assessment presentation. I acknowledge that I may not be able to speak for my cohort's individual experiences, but I can speak on my own and what we have experienced as a cohort. As a proud first-generation Mexican-American eldest daughter, moving to Athens for graduate school was both the scariest and best experience I could have had. I've always been someone who just figures it out, asks questions, and just does it. Graduate school challenged everything that I knew and everything that I am. Being in a new physical space, a new school, a new state, and being in this specific program where I constantly reflected on the experience I had just wrapped up as an undergraduate student, learning new terms, theories, and frameworks that perfectly aligned or defined my experiences. It made me question everything for the better. Being Mexican American is one of my most salient identities. I have had to navigate my everydayness in a constant balance between the culture I was raised in and the culture I live in. There's a Spanish saying that goes, ni de aquí, ni de allá, which translates to not from here, not from there. As mentioned with my own experience, this phrase is commonly used within the Latino community to describe the experience of navigating two cultures, trying to adapt new and old values, traditions, and expectations that come for the Latino community and the American culture. To break the stigma, there are voices in the Latino community who advocate for a middle ground. The term de aquí y de allá, which translates to from here and there, represents Latino Americans balancing between finding their identity through American society while staying true to their Latino culture. I share all that to say that I believe the uniqueness of our cohort and the experience we had together can relate to finding a balance between who we were when we first arrived and who we are now. Individually, we hold a variety of backgrounds, beliefs, and perspectives. I mean, looking at where we're from alone, we're from North Carolina, Mississippi, New Jersey, South Carolina, Michigan, Russia, Brazil, Georgia. Just geographically, we have different experiences from our hometowns. Thinking about where we grew up or where we moved for our undergraduate experiences, we grew and developed our beliefs and values, and we became used to that being the norm. For me, the norm was speaking Spanish at home, commuting to a small liberal arts college, being heavily involved through numerous leadership positions, and seeing my family every day. The norm for others in my cohort has included living in a different country, taking a gap year between degrees, being from the North, or already having experienced UGA. Regardless of what our norm may have looked like, coming to this program was a completely new experience for us collectively. Ni de aquí ni de allá represents difficulty in finding your place in society and being torn between two worlds that make it difficult to feel fully understood. We found ourselves in a shared space of figuring out who we arrived as will be in this new place, not knowing or even considering all the growth and change that would happen. We came to Athens leaving our communities and support systems behind, or stayed in Athens with our communities and support systems leaving and changing. We compared everything to what used to be our norm, which made us question so many things. We questioned how we define friendships, relationships, and community. We questioned what our needs are, maybe letting go of some or developing new ones. We questioned if what was in our program was enough, or if we had to seek more outside of CSAA. We learned to lean on each other because of the commonality of being in this new space and navigating this new experience together to feel understood. Ni de aquí ni de allá is a declaration of dual belonging, of complex identity, and finding purpose through both feelings of presence and displacement. As we continued to grow as the semester went by, we did it all again during our summer internships. Again, being in a new space, bringing in who we are from our norms, maybe with a few adjustments from a year in this program, and then growing again through that experience. Growing looked different for each of us. It looked like learning new things, reflecting and taking a step back, being more confident in who we are and what we know, or a realignment of what our future may look like. And then we came back to Athens, where we were able to find purpose in the norm we created here together and who we each grew to be, both professionally and personally. Over the 2-year course of the CSAA program, we have stayed true to ourselves and what we knew as we adapted, readjusted, and developed into scholars, individuals, and future leaders. As we transition into a new phase of life, I want us to remember de aquí y de allá, from here and from there. I am proud that as a cohort, we were able to bring in who we were, represent what our norms are, and teach each other more about us and where we come from. As we move into our new professional roles or new educational opportunities, I want us to take ownership of both who we are and what we learned from one another. Continue taking up space, representing who we are and where we come from. Be willing to teach others and continue learning from others. Remember where we learn from one another, like our different cultural backgrounds, how to be a mentor or mentee, and just how to be a good friend and peer. Remember those things when we are supporting a variety of students and collaborating with colleagues and peers. Be kind. To be de aquí de allá, we must be confident of where we came from and willing to continue learning who we are and where we came from. And if you need a theory or framework to support this, Transitions That's Becoming supports that transition is not static, it's ongoing, and a process situated in the everydayness of our lived experiences where there will be challenges and uncertainty that can point to complex, messy, and non-linear departures. Right, Dr. Young? That's my citation, by the way, he wrote that. Our transition is not going to be easy or straightforward, but we know that because we did it already. And being here today proves that we succeeded. Lastly, I just want to thank everyone. Thank you to my cohort for the journey we went through together. Every time we have been asked what I'll miss the most from here, I haven't been able to pinpoint anything specific. Every time I try, it just becomes a long list of people and things because I truly will just miss this phase of life. We will never be able to live this again, and I'm thankful to have shared it with you all and have created an experience that'll be worth missing. Gracias a mi familia, mis amigos por todo su apoyo. Gracias, Ma y Pa, por todo lo que han hecho por mí. De verdad no estaría aquí sin sus sacrificios y su esfuerzo. Los quiero mucho. Thank you, Liz, Victor, and Javier, for being the best supporting and sometimes annoying younger siblings. You truly drive me to be the best and continue creating a path for our family. Thank you to our families, friends, and communities that have continued to support us even when being hours away. Thank you to our professors, advisors, mentors, supervisors, peers, and students who believed in us and continue to support and guide us through this journey. And we should thank ourselves for taking this opportunity and owning who we are and who we want to be. We've achieved this milestone, and there's so many more ahead of us. Let's continue doing our best and becoming the professionals and individual this world needs to do good and be good. And as always, go Dogs.
His favorite memory from
And now, please direct your attention to the screen where we're going to share some memories from all of us.
His favorite memory from the CSAA program is the first event organized by the CSAA, which was the Rep Your Undergrad Night in August 2024. It was the first time when I got to see all the people who are in the CSAA program in both cohorts, and I was very excited to get to know them and to be ready for the journey ahead of us.
My favorite CSAA memory is definitely being able to spontaneously go to different sporting events with my friends. Shout out Amy, Damien, and Abby for for being able to just go to different sporting events, but also us being able to tailgate together throughout the football season. That has definitely been a favorite.
One of my favorite memories from CSAA was our 2025 Friendsgiving party when my friends got me a surprise birthday cake, and that was really sweet. I really appreciate it. But my favorite one is definitely Dr. Burr's class outside of Clark Howell when we had to keep throwing objects to each other. That was super funny and fun. And yeah, I would love to do that again, to be honest.
I have two favorite memories from my time here in CSAA. The first one would be my birthday party during my first year. It was really awesome to, have all my friends here in CSAA, both as a first year at the time and second years, show up for me to celebrate me, and just kind of building that community here in Athens was really, really good to see. And my second memory would be this year's visiting days, or kind of optional social that we had. I really loved seeing all the current first years and second years show up for that event, and just being there for everyone, seeing that community and seeing how others, were happy and excited to see the community that we can build here in the program.
My favorite memory from my time in the CSAA program were just all the times that we were over at Dr. Young's house, just hanging out as a cohort, and the faculty was there. Specifically, the game night was my favorite time because I was able to teach everyone my favorite card game, which is Dutch Blitz. And if you were there and you were playing Dutch Blitz, you know why that's my favorite memory. But those are just the best. We would get dinner. We would just all hang out as a program together and as a cohort. And those are some of my favorite memories that I have from the last 2 years.
My favorite memory from CSAA was visiting days, and the first time I arrived here on campus and seeing how fun and welcoming everybody was, and just wanting to be here so bad and be a part of this community.
My favorite memory from CSAA was either the Ole Miss game from this past fall or the Texas game from our first year fall. I think it's a shared experience that football wasn't really a big deal until we got to Georgia. So I just have loved watching the games and being with friends and spending the whole day just excited about football.
Okay, I have two favorite memories because I can't pick. One of them was like a bunch in one. So it would be all of the CSAA tailgates that would happen before football games. They were always just so fun, and I love a tailgate in football season, so of course that's gonna be my favorite. And then my second favorite memory is when we all went to Adonis's apartment our first year for Yulia's birthday. It was just so fun. We watched football, we gave ourselves a tour of Adonis's apartment, and we ate really good wings that he cooked. So those are probably my two favorite CSAA memories.
My favorite memories from CSAA are when we would all go out to eat together, whether that was at the beginning of the semester or to celebrate someone's birthday. I really love just getting to spend that intentional time with everyone in our cohort outside of the classroom. Also, honorable mention to when we went to Dr. Young's house for game night. That was so much fun, and it was where I learned how to play Dutch Blitz. Shout out to Jameson for that.
Okay, one of my favorite memories from CSAA would be our first year orientation, because it's crazy to think about how much we've grown since then. But then also our We Pass Comps emails, because for me at least, they help signify the start of the end of our program and give me a sense of accomplishment. Since I passed this, I can graduate. I'm going to graduate, so I love that.
My favorite CSAA memory is our dinner at Dr. Young's house after the end of our first semester. I feel like that was just a great way to unwind after a really stressful semester and all kind of get the chance to hang out.
I'm staying in Athens for a couple of years more, but I'm definitely going to miss my classmates and just seeing them every week and spending time with them and learning from them. I'm really happy for everyone, and I want to see them being successful in their careers, but it's a bittersweet feeling. I'll be missing them a lot.
What I'm going to miss the most about CSAA, I have two things. So first of all, living with Amy and Lexi, they are two of my best friends that this program has given me. And I've just loved being able to come home and talk to them about our days and what we're learning. And also, I think I'm going to miss being in Dr. Cook's class a lot and just hearing all of the guest speakers share their career journey and all of their advice. I know I've taken a lot away from that class. that I'm going to use throughout my career. So I think that those are the two things I will miss the most about this program.
What I miss most about CSAA is definitely the relationships that I built with my friends. Just being able to go to the library together, go to a coffee shop, or even just like go hang out at a restaurant. Just not having that accessible with us all being in different places is definitely something that will make me miss CSAA the most.
Something I'll miss about UJ and Athens are the connections I've made and the communities I'm a part of. So shout out Career Center staff, CDIs, Rankin staff, GAPS. But then I'll also miss like the little things on campus, walks to Adderhold and Rankin from Clark Howell, Bubble Cafe downtown, and also the Chick-fil-A in Tate because it saw me way more than it should have, especially this semester.
One of the main things I'll miss about Athens and UGA's campus is all of the greenery and walking down North Campus, specifically the Founders Garden.
I think it goes without saying that the thing I miss most about Athens are the people, but the coffee shops in Athens are definitely a close second. Shout out to 1,000 Faces and Sunroof Coffee, not only where I got to hang out with a lot of friends, but got a lot of work done. I'm super thankful for all of the good espresso in Athens, and I definitely will miss it a lot.
Something that I will miss most about Athens is 100% without a doubt the Globe. It has the best chicken tenders, it has the greatest vibes, and it has the most fire Aperol spritz I've ever had in my entire life. There's going to be so many things I'm actually going to miss about Athens truly, but the Globe will forever and always be my number one favorite place in Athens, and I fear I'm going to long for a Friday night at the Globe for the rest of my life.
The thing I'm going to miss the most about Athens is definitely the atmosphere of the game days because I enjoy to take part in the tailgating and seeing the unity of cheering for your school. And even though I'm not going to be in UGA next year, I'm going to be a dog forever.
A big lesson I learned as a CSAA student was how to say goodbye. These additional 2 years at the University of Georgia with the cohort who we all started knowing that in 2 years we'll be graduating together really helped me make more meaning of the spaces I had gotten to know in undergrad with a whole new set of people. And I'm happy to be leaving the university with these memories.
My biggest takeaway from this experience is when you surround yourself with well-rounded, intelligent, and like-minded individuals, it will only motivate you to strive to be your best self and accomplish things that you didn't think you could accomplish before.
My biggest takeaway from CSAA is definitely going to be the curricular approach. I'm really excited to implement a little bit more intentionality into like program planning in my career, and the curricular approach really changed the way that I view that.
My biggest takeaway from CSAA is how much I learned about myself and others through my experiences and their experiences. I genuinely wouldn't be who I am today without this program, so I owe a lot of credit to my cohort and my professors just for pushing me to be the best version of myself. Thank you guys.
Takeaway from CSAA is all the professional skills that we've picked up in these last 2 years. I've especially been drawn to the justification of learning outside the classroom and how we as student affairs professionals can be that intervention point to help them grow and develop on campus in these years that they're at school.
My biggest CSAA takeaway is that I always have something to learn. I'm so grateful that in my 2 years here, I got to learn so much from my classmates turned friends, my professors, the students I got to work with, and I hope that all of the things I learned from all of you are things I can take with me, but that I get to bring that same excitement for learning into wherever I end up next.
Thank you, class of 2026, for that touching video. We have more for tonight, but if you have not made plans for after the hooding ceremony, it sounds like the Globe, Espresso, and Dr. Young's house will meet a few coveted destinations. Okay, we have arrived to our titular moment. Graduates, if you will please rise and make your way to this door. I will be calling you in order of program, so if you need to organize yourselves, now is the time. As each graduate's name is called, they will cross the stage and they will be hooded by my colleague here, Dr. Koo. Afterward, they will proceed down the center stairwell where friends and family may capture a brief, memorable photo. You can feel free to come up as the name is called if you want to capture the hooding as it is happening. The graduates will then move over to this lovely number display we have here if they want to take maybe a couple of additional photos, but just so we don't get too bottlenecked, if you'll take those photos quickly and then they can return to their seats. We'll have plenty of photo opportunities after the ceremony. So family and friends, when your graduate's name is called, feel free to come down the aisle for photos if you would like to do that. Just be mindful that the area might get a bit crowded. We will start with our first graduate. Joy Victoria Albert. Excellent. Join me in a round of applause for Joy. Okay. Marjorie Arantes Bayo. Jordan Arnold. Woo! Damian Garza. Amy Adeline Gutierrez Lubiano. Avi Jimenez. Abby Kruger. Ariana Marie Long. One more round of applause for her. Thank you. Kazarin Novus. Lexi Rouse. Adonis Scott. Nicole Tamouche. Jamison Elizabeth Wood. And Yulia Yashina. One more round of applause for our graduates. So as I mentioned to you, our time is brief, but I feel it has been very powerful. It certainly has been for me. We are coming to the close of our time together, and I just have a few closing remarks. Our program, our degree program, is one of the oldest of its kind in the nation, and it was founded and stewarded by people who cared deeply about higher education, student learning, and the conditions that help students thrive. They were scholars, certainly, but before they were scholars, they were practitioners. They lived this work alongside students every day. And it remains true that the faculty who teach in this program now have also served as practitioners. We're not new to this, we're true to this. Every one of us has worked as student affairs professionals, and we've practiced across different institutions, roles, and contexts. And so much of our teaching comes not only from theory and research, but from our lived experience. We teach from what we have studied, but also from what we have witnessed, navigated, struggled through, and learned ourselves. Student affairs is also one of those professions where many people arrive because of their own college experiences. For many of us, college was transformative. Sometimes those transformations came through joy and belonging. Sometimes they came through challenge, struggle, and finally being seen in ways that we had not been seen before. And often, we did not even know this profession existed until we encountered the people who shaped our own lives in college and made us think, I want to do that for someone else. I know that that was certainly true for me. And there is a level of self-discovery I experienced in college that I do not think could have happened in any other environment. It moved me deeply enough not only to enter this profession, but to remain in it. And I know that this is a shared story among many of our graduates today and our faculty here present and many others in the room and joining us virtually. In recent years, we've had several long-serving faculty members retire, and we are deeply indebted to them for their beautiful foundation that they built for this program and for generations of professionals that they helped to shape. One thing that has been somewhat unique about this newer chapter of our faculty and that our graduates got to experience is that many of us are currently parenting and caring for children who are themselves navigating childhood, adolescence, and eventually college going. This offers an added layer of resonance for this work for some of us. It has been an incredibly full 2 years of learning, tests, papers, reflections, group work, more papers, more reflections, and yes, more group work. What we, the faculty and their supervisors, know is that these professionals are about to launch into campuses and tackle incredibly complex issues with compassion, thoughtfulness, and care. As I look at the graduates sitting before me tonight, I see remarkable professionals and leaders. I love these young adults you've let us borrow for these past 2 years. But I see remarkable professionals and leaders who will help shape higher education for years to come. Many of you will move into positions where you will influence policy, culture, learning environments, support systems, and students' everyday experiences on college campuses. As both a faculty member and a parent, there is something profoundly moving to me about realizing the spaces you create may one day be the very spaces my own daughter steps into. She has still many years before college, at least 10 if she's on a traditional pathway. But if you remain in this field, many of you will be the people shaping the environments that students like her will encounter. I cannot fully express how much hope and confidence that gives me. Because I know who you are, I know how deeply you care, and I know the thoughtfulness you bring to this work, the ways you have challenged yourselves to grow, the compassion you have shown students to one another, and the seriousness in which you have approached learning how to support human beings well. And so while I look forward to continuing to know many of you as colleagues in this field, feel free to call me Jenny, though I know for some of you that will feel odd. I also look forward someday to meeting professionals like you on the other side of this work as a parent and trusting my child to your care. This is the depth of confidence that I have in you. And so while I look forward, oh, sorry, I said that part already. I'm so moved, I'm reading my paragraph over again. I want to thank all of the family members, friends, and supervisors who have joined us, both in person and online. And once again, I want to say congratulations to the class of 2026. This concludes the formal part of our ceremony. I'll just ask that you please be mindful about blocking the pathways as you're taking photos or making your way out to the courtyard so that people can get through and navigate as they need to for further celebrations. Thank you for being a part of this special celebration. Safe travels and go dogs. That's right.